3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You are inside the doesnt studio.
Man, I'm just watching this Quarantella. That's unbelievable.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, which one?
Number 11. I wish I lived in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where is that neighborhood?
We're in Sherman Oaks in California.
Nice. That's and you got to go. Who's the guitar player?
For 11, I think it was Davy Johnstone. I think. I don't remember. I'd have to look.
Wow.
What was it, Davy? I don't know.
Long
hair.
Blonde guy. You had a percussion session. He's amazing. Yeah, you guys twisted it. It's really
cool.
good. It's really good. Really good.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Yeah. So, Quarantella, explain.
Long story, but I'll shorten it to say I didn't have any other jobs. And my wife and I were just thinking, I'm going to go insane if I don't start playing. And I dragged the keyboard outside, asked the neighbors if it'd be cool. And, everybody was sitting on their front lawns watching, safe distance, masks, all that. And I went out there alone and played an hour's worth of my favorite songs by Elton, Billy Joel, Police, Prince, Ray Charles, whatever. And it was great. And we streamed it on my Facebook page, and we did it as a fundraiser for a nonprofit. I forget what the first one was, but we choose a different nonprofit every week. And people tune in on Facebook, click the Donate Now button, and give some money.
Nice.
And it was really cool. And I forget which one it was. It might have been the third or fourth one. The third or fourth Quarantella we did. I called Lisa Loeb, who's a friend of mine, singer, and she was up for doing one. So she came over and we sang "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" together,
right on.
Which was great. And then we did a Simon and Garfunkel tune, "The Boxer," and some press was there that day, and that was the beginning of the cool coverage we got, because the following week the AP came out, and then CBS, and then NPR, and it was crazy what was going on this block, And
it's on YouTube, and they're all on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, most of them. I haven't put the last 3 on YouTube because I'm lazy as shit, and I guess it'll be up there soon. It's just, it's just been so much fun to get out there and play and raise some money. So we've raised over $18,000 so far for.
Are you kidding? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's amazing.
So cool.
Nice job.
Thank you.
So which one did you had Lisa Loeb? That was number.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and check it out. But Lisa Loeb was the first really well-known artist we had sitting in, and she was just so humble and so sweet and so damn good. And then from there, I just started getting not so hesitant to ask people to join, and it was really cool. I was talking to Michael McDonald of the Doobie Brothers on Facebook. We've been friends for a while on Facebook, and I asked him if he'd do it virtually, and I would just hook him up and people would be able to hear him through my amp, and he was up for it. And so he did one and sang "It Keeps You Running."
Nice.
By the Doobies. It was incredible. The audio wasn't that great, you could hear his voice crystal clear, but you couldn't, from where we were up in the hills for this particular one, you couldn't hear his piano so well. So I was like, oh, what a bummer. I wish I was like, being run on CBS or something. It would have been perfect. But, he did one. Then my sax player friend, Dave Cause, did one virtually. And we did What You Won't Do for Love. And he played a killer sax solo on it. I mean, just sounded amazing. Just amazing. So everybody's up for it. We don't get paid. We just do it to raise money and have some fun.
Yeah, I think that's one of the real positive things that have come out of this pandemic or endemic, whatever we consider it now, is the fact that all this music. And I actually saw Lisa Loeb. She posted a few videos, and it's interesting that you had gotten to hook up with her because she's super talented and liked listening to her. And gosh,
she's great.
There's a ton of them.
She's so awesome. I've known her for a long time, and she, without hesitation, she was like, absolutely. It was great.
So how many people are showing up now?
For a while it was about 25, 30 people, mostly our neighbors and neighborhood people. And then once the press got to it, we were seeing an increase of live people who found out scarily where we live. And we had to start toning it down. So we changed locations a couple of times and then we had to, stop inviting friends,
right?
And just say, watch virtually, because that's what it was. So now we're back to about, maybe 25, 30 people in the neighborhood. And now it's being hosted by this organization that, is big on Facebook and Instagram for nostalgia. It's called, the site is called Do You Remember? So Do You Remember started hosting my live feeds about, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so we went from getting at the most maybe 17,000 views the day that Elton's guitarist and MD, Davey Johnstone, did it with me. And he's done like 3 or 4 of them with me so far. But so we went from getting like 17,000 views to 170,000 views, which Do You Remember is totally into it. And they've been so supportive, and they let me stream it, directly onto their Facebook page. So a lot of new viewers from all over the world.
Very cool. So your role typically, and as a career is kind of being in the background, but right now it's nice to see you in the forefront because since I've discovered you, I've gotten the chance to listen to a couple of these and it's awesome. It's fun to watch. I would just,
Thank you.
I would love to be there. And, I wish people are doing that here. I'm in Montana and,
cool.
you see people every night, doing something live and there's a few, Facebook, pages that are dedicated to that. However, I mean, now that, kind of Montana's never really had, the effects of this virus like say California has,
right.
And we've never really shut down, and we're far too open right now, so you can see live music again pretty much anywhere. But it's incredible to see that, and it's a real energy that you can't get any other way.
Right. Yeah, it's so much fun for me to just get out there and play and bring a whole bunch of other musicians. Like I have some calls out to a steel drum player because I really want to do Jimmy Buffett's song Volcano.
Huge Jimmy Buffett fan.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I thought it'd be so much fun to have a percussionist and a steel drum player for the next one. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm trying to make that happen.
I'm a bit older than you. I was in 6th grade in 1976, and my 6th grade school teacher, we had one class, and he was a huge Jimmy Buffett fan and exposed me to that, and which was a whole different genre of music than I was that I was used to listening to. I grew up on the Canadian border and listened to Canadian rock and roll and April Wine and Loverboy and
Loverboy, I remember them.
So,
they were cool.
Yeah, so Jimmy Buffett was quite a departure from my normal music that I would listen to, and kids at school are like, why do you listen to Jimmy Buffett? But at that time, Bob Seger was really big, and so Bachman Turner Overdrive and bands like that.
Wow.
So throw a little bit out there about who you are and what you normally would be doing right now for a living. And I assume you do it. Is it a full-time thing? How often and how busy are you usually when things are normal with the world?
Yeah, great questions, because I have no idea of any of those answers. I still don't know what I do for a living. I have a lot of things going on, and I do my best to keep money coming in for my family and to keep me happy. But since 2005, the coolest gig I have is they call me the surrogate Elton John, and I rehearse Elton's band. Davy Johnstone, Nigel Olsson, John Mahan on bass. It's Matt Bissonette. John's on percussion, and then Kim Bullard on keys, and Ray Cooper, of course, when he plays percussion as well. So it's a killer gig because I sit and play Elton's piano and sing his parts and get the band ready. And then when Elton gets there, if he needs me to review anything with him, I'll do that. And I conduct for him, I arrange for him, and it's an as-need kind of thing. So now with the farewell tour, it was in full swing, and I was coming in as needed, anywhere from once to 3 or 4 times a year. And now that whole tour is on hold. So that's my full-time favorite gig when I'm doing it. Otherwise, I play piano I play keyboards at the Sunset Marquis, which is a real cool hotel in Hollywood, California. And I also play at the Four Seasons, which is also Hollywood, Beverly Hills area. You say Beverly Hills and Four Seasons, nobody wants to go because they think it costs too much. So it's more in the Hollywood area. But now all of that's closed up too. So, really what I'm doing is I work full time in a piano store as selling pianos, and I'm a manager there, and that's kind of fun too, because at least it's around music. And then lastly, I have a book that I wrote called Smother, and that's being still pursued as a television show. And now that's on hold too. So I play whenever I can, and I write. So I'm also a sales manager at a local piano store, and I work there, which helps pay the bills. It's a weird thing because one day on a Thursday, you're heading to New York City to rehearse the band at Madison Square Garden. And then Monday you're back, working in the piano store and leading a normal life. It's such a strange existence.
That's a weird dichotomy of worlds there that you jump in and out of. Hilarious. I mean, how do you get the energy to go back, and how do you get the energy to or either direction, I guess?
Yeah, I'm working on that solution. I don't really know. Lots of therapy and prescribed drugs, whatever it takes. Lots of Lexapro. I'm a big fan of that. Antidepressant. It's not easy. And then, I have this book I wrote. It's sort of a true comedy about my mom, who's still alive, and who writes me these insanely inappropriate letters through the mail. And the book is called Smother, and it's still now being pursued to be a half-hour comedy. But even that's on hold because the business is so chaotic right now.
So when we'll back up just a little bit. You were talking about putting these videos on YouTube, and I think that people just think that these things magically appear, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. So when you say that you're producing YouTube videos and you have this of course other life that is on hold right now, it's not one of those things that you just start. So somewhere you started and became proficient at YouTube, but where did the piano start?
Where did playing piano start?
Yeah, when did you start playing piano, and when did you first discover it?
Probably at maybe 3 years old. I was sitting at an upright piano that my parents bought me, and I was just banging my hands down on it, and I thought, well, this is kind of fun. And I started lessons about the age of 5, and I never stopped playing ever since. And funny enough, I still have that upright piano that my parents bought me in Jersey. Took it to Florida, took it to Los Angeles, and then had it rebuilt, refinished. And it's my little blue piano. I had it redone in blue. And it's an awesome little upright piano that I'll never get rid of. So yeah, I've been playing this piano since I was basically 3.
Did you really take the piano to college?
I did. I took piano to USC, where I went for music school. I had a scholarship in music composition there, and I took it in the dorm. And I was probably the coolest freshman on our floor because we had an upright piano in our 4 roommate apartment right off campus. Actually, our first apartment was right on campus, and it was really cool because I would just sit and play piano, and all these freshman girls and guys would be coming over, and it was like, wow, what a cool hang. It was a fun place to go to music school.
How'd you get it there?
I think it was a U-Haul. It was a U-Haul company we paid to ship it out at that time from Florida to LA. And I remember when it arrived, it fell out of the back of their truck because they were completely incompetent movers. And luckily it only broke a couple of strings and hammers, and they paid for the repair, but it's never left California since. So, I've always had it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get at, because moving a piano even a small upright is not easy. I had back in a few years ago, I bought just on Craigslist, bought a 1910 Cunningham. They were made in, it's a baby grand made in Philadelphia. And, it came and I had to do work on it, and there really wasn't anybody around. I did have somebody tune it. And, but one of the things I wanted to do was I was going to be in Philadelphia, and I wanted to see the Cunningham factory, and I went, and they also restore pianos, and one of the things they had there was the piano that Billy Joel played on Glass Houses, the big grand.
Wow.
And so they just finished it, and I got to play that piano. So what made me think about that and think about you in those terms is I wanted to know what kind of piano that you sit down with when you rehearse, and what does Elton John play?
Well, whenever we're rehearsing, if we're in a rehearsal studio, I'm playing on his Yamaha keyboard. And I think it's a motif, if I remember correctly, or they have the Avant Grand, which is a hybrid piano that I play on. And then if we're rehearsing at the actual venue where the show will be, then I'm playing on his 9-foot Yamaha that's all midied out and pretty awesome. So it depends where we are. But usually it's either a Yamaha keyboard or the Yamaha piano that he's got midied out. Like when we went to Vegas, I'd be rehearsing on his red piano when they had that. And then when they were doing the $1 million piano show, then I was literally rehearsing on his $1 million piano, which was, a Yamaha killer piano that was midied out and just sounded amazing. But it could be amplified. And I got to tell you, when you're playing the piano at the site where the show is, the volume of this piano is like nothing anybody has ever experienced. It's like Spinal Tap's turned up to 11, but let's say it's turned up to like 80. I mean, no human being should ever play this piano at that decibel without some sort of, you've been warned. Because it's so friggin' loud, because that's the way he likes it. He does not wear in-ears, and he doesn't believe in in-ears. So the monitors are cranked beyond human belief. So that's always fun. So I remember the first time I touched it in Vegas, they're like, do you want this at Elton's volume? I said, yeah, let me just hear what it's like. And they said, okay, you've been warned. I literally almost flew to the ceiling of the Coliseum when we were there. And I said, that's ungodly. I don't even understand it. But, when the band's jamming and he's jamming, he's got to have it that loud.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it's a great story. It's a lot of fun.
So in your brain, what does the Elton John song list look like? I mean, what have you committed to memory over the years?
I pretty much know every song there is that he's played live, and then some real rarities that I don't think he'll ever do that I love playing when fans are like, what do you know that he doesn't do and that he maybe should do in concert? Songs like Island Girl and Dan Dare from Rock of the Westies and Feel Like a Bullet in the Gun of Robert Ford. And then a lot of stuff from the Captain Fantastic album, because that's really where I came in. In 2005, I was brought in to rehearse the band for the Captain Fantastic reunion tour, basically, which was the celebration of that release. So we did the album from start to finish. And, I had to review all that stuff, and I love that music. So songs like Writing and Better Off Dead and The Whistle Blows and Curtains and We All Fall in Love Sometimes. I mean, incredible songs that, he's not putting in the regular show, but he could at any minute because they're just, amazing tunes.
When was the first time you heard Elton John?
I think I was around 8 years old, and I was in a car in Miami, and my mom left me in the car to basically drop dead in the heat while she was mailing something in the post office. And I was listening to the radio station, and they played Funeral for a Friend. And I had never in my life heard anything so incredible. And I thought, what the hell is that? Went home and learned it and became an absolute fanatic, which is why it's so weird that I'm working for him. The way things sort of very organically manifested, that I went to school out here at USC. My first job, I met Davy Johnstone in the oddest of places. And that, years and years later, I was offered the job to do what I do now. And it's kept growing and growing. And it's just, I love those guys. I love Elton. And it's just amazing.
So what does a resume have to look like to get the job that you have? I'm
not really sure. I met Davey when I graduated SC in School of Music, and I thought, what do I do now with a music degree? And I thought, well, what better thing to do than work in a record store?
Or Lowe's, yeah.
Right. And so I did that. And then, this couple came in one day, and it was Davy Johnstone and his wife at the time. And I was like, oh my God, I knew who he was in an instant, and befriended him. And then he started playing with me on live gigs. And we did a whole bunch of recordings of my original music. And we were always, really, really good friends. And then one day in 2004, he said, hey, would you be up for rehearsing the band? And I said, are you kidding me? I would love it. And they brought me in. They got CDs of what we were doing to Elton. And Elton said, wow, okay, let's bring him on board. Let's have him come to New York and Boston, and he can rehearse us here. So that's kind of how it started. I think really because Davey knew my playing. He knew my singing. He knew I was a big fan of Elton, and that I would never be any, there would never be any creepy stuff going on, because I respect everybody in the band, and I respect Elton. And I think that's what Elton kind of dug about me, was that I wasn't trying to do something else other than just help him and the band out. So that's kind of what you needed to fit that bill. I wasn't looking to be a superstar. Maybe in the back of my mind a little bit, sure, but I just loved playing the music. I loved singing it, and I did it well and respectfully.
So how many shows does Elton do a year, and does he tour every single year?
Oh yeah, that he lives to play for people. It's not so much about the money for him anymore. He does it because he loves doing it, and I think he's going absolutely stir crazy, but totally understands. He totally understands why he can't be going out, but I'm sure he would go out in a heartbeat. But that's all he does is tour year round. I can't even tell you how many shows he does, but they're way past 100. I mean, God knows he does a show almost every day, all over the U.S., all over the world, and that band is constantly touring. So, this is a real kind of treat for a lot of the band who gets to be home with their families now, and Elton too, to be home with David and his boys. So, on one hand, it sucks. On the other hand, it's amazing that they all get to be with their families now.
So you got to be ready. You got to be ready to go, though. I mean,
oh yeah,
when it's on, it's on.
Yeah, when it's on, it's on. Right now, they're saying it may not be till the middle of 2021 that things come back for tours. So, but listen, when it's ready, I'm gone. I'll be like, gotta go, see you, bye. And wherever that may lead, I'll go.
So what does that look like? What does that look like? Are you packed? Are you ready to go? And how long are you usually gone?
It can be anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of weeks. I'd imagine that because the band will have been off so long, we'll need, some more extensive rehearsals. And that'll either be done here in Los Angeles before they go, or they'll just do it at the site, wherever that'll be. But for me, the best analogy to describe what I do, I feel like Rocky. I feel like Rocky in character, the boxer, and I'm like in training somewhere in Siberia, although it's Los Angeles. And, instead of punching snow and meat, I'm punching the keys and I'm refreshing, how best to play this. Because it's not imitation so much as being true to where I think Elton was when he wrote the songs, where he first performed them, and bringing that energy to the guys so they know it's doable with that level of freshness and power. And I think that's why the band loves to have me play, because I sing it, the way Elton used to sing it 20, 30 years ago. And I'm psyched as hell to do it with that passion and fervor that I'm not even sure Elton, does all the time, because he does these songs all the time. I get to do this on a very limited basis, and it's like, oh my God, I'm on cloud 9 doing this stuff. So the rehearsals are nothing but fun to me. So, yeah, I'll pack a pair of jeans and a shirt, and I'm ready to go. Most important thing are my in-ears, so I don't have to have the amps and monitors at full blast, and that I remember every little nuance of what Elton did, and maybe tweak a couple of things that he's done live, and be ready to play.
So how often would he rehearse with the band? I mean, obviously he's got to
Minimum.
play with them sometimes. So yeah, that's really odd to me.
Yeah, that's like, I'll get them ready so they're ready to go. And then he'll come out, and sometimes he's ready. Sometimes he's like, oh, Adam, what's that chord? What are you guys doing there? And then I'll come up to the piano and sit with him and show him what we were doing to remind him. But most of it are on the charts that I've mapped out for him in his in his screen, which lives inside his piano, and for lyrics and chords if he needs. And it's really just ready to go for Elton when he starts rehearsing. Because his rehearsals with the band maybe will last an hour, if that, a day before the show, just to touch up.
So how many shows do you get to see a year?
A lot. I mean, I could go home after my rehearsals, but I like to see the finished product of what we all did. So I'll see maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 20 shows a year, depending on how often I'm with the band rehearsing. But I will never turn down the opportunity to see the show. I never get tired of it. I have a credit at the end on screen. They roll these credits that say, special thanks. And I'm right with the thanks to the band members. And, that to me is the honor of all honors. That, it's up there in that video that if people do stay, to stick around to see that, it's the end of the concert. And I'm like, well, that's friggin' awesome. That's a childhood dream come true there.
Who started calling you Sir Elton? Spelled
Elton.
S-U-R.
Yeah. Well, Davey came up with the term surrogate Elton. And I remember when I met Billy Joel at one of the Elton shows, I was introduced to him by Davey Johnstone as their surrogate Elton. And Billy, in a very Rodney Dangerfield kind of way, said, surrogate? Well, why don't I have a surrogate? And, next thing you know, he had some dude sitting in for him at some shows who actually played guitar, and he offered a gig to the guy as their backup guitarist or something. It was such a cool story. But Davey came up with the name Surrogate Elton, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. The short of surrogate is Sir. So I'm Sir Elton with a U. So that was my thing, but he came up with the surrogate Elton.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
Yeah.
So you also met Billy Joel. To me, those two guys, Elton and Billy Joel, I mean, New York City, I mean, that's got to be one of the most amazing feelings to be in any venue there in preparing for something like that. It's just got to be overwhelming at times.
Yeah, it is. And I actually played Elton's piano live for the Grammy salute to him in 2018, where all these artists, John Legend, Lady Gaga, Sam Smith, list goes on. They did their versions of Elton songs, and I was playing piano for them on stage with the band, with Elton, Bernie, and David watching from the audience.
Wow.
That was the greatest gig of my life. Nerve-wracking as hell. Things may not have been 100% perfect during the taping for a couple of the tunes, but for the most part, the end product was, brilliant. I mean, everybody was incredible. That was the highlight of my career with him.
So who decides for every show what Elton's going to play? Does Elton decide that, or?
Yeah, that's his call with Davey, who's the MD, and then they decide. It's pretty much all the same songs for all of the farewell tour. They decided to, if they decide to cut a song here and there, they'll do that and then replace it with something else. I think Take Me to the Pilot is going to be replaced with something eventually. But yeah, they pretty much have the same set. It's not like a Springsteen concert where the show is, can be different every night. He's definitely a set list kind of guy.
So I think it's one of the things, that is incredible about your story. It's hard enough being a musician and making it, but it's so much harder than to live in a place like Southern California where your dollar doesn't mean much. So, but you have to be there. So how do you provide a good balance and stay busy enough to keep your head above water? It's tough.
Yeah, it's not easy. And, that's why I manage the piano store, because that definitely helps pay the bills and health insurance. And, if I had my druthers, I'd love to be paid to, be out there and raise money for nonprofits. And I think what I do with Elton, definitely didn't hurt in getting us some press. But I think the main story with our Quarancella, and I got to tell you something funny about that, but the main attraction with that was that we were doing this to raise money for nonprofits. I wasn't going out there to do this for me. And though we could definitely use the money, I thought it was more important to help those really, really in need. The Cancer Society, Cerebral Palsy Foundation, the cooks for the underprivileged here, especially during COVID-19. And it's like, that was what was so cool that we were doing this. And the funny part of this is, if there is a funny part, Coachella sent me an email from their management company with basically a cease and desist to stop calling this Coachella. And I found that so friggin' amusing, because I'm like, seriously, guys, we're not doing this for profit. You realize this. We're doing this to raise money for people, and you guys aren't even doing shows. So maybe you want to co-brand? And they were like, yeah, no thanks. Just stop using the name. So I started calling it, after Quarancella, in honor of Prince. We were like the concert formerly known as, and then I was doing Q16, and then for a second I was doing Quarancello, because they have a trademark on the cella. So I thought, screw them. Let's call it Quarance LA. So it could be Quarancella. And then they couldn't sue me. And so I'm having a blast with just coming up with different variations of the name Quarancella, because it's like, come on, really? This is all in good, for a good cause. And if I end up in prison because of Quarancella, that'll be a great story, So whatever, day by day.
Yeah, prisoner. Well, they probably won't put you in prison, but you might have to write a big check. But there would be a lot of people on your side. Any jury would find you very, very innocent. They would side with you, and I'd be there leading that charge. But how does that work with your employer? Are they okay with you taking off and being gone for X amount of time?
You mean for the Elton work?
Yeah. From
the Elton
store
work, it helps them out too, because they can say, hey, the guy managing their store, also does this with Elton. And then it's come on, really? It helps them out too.
Right.
On occasion people come in and they're like, oh, I saw you up on there. You're the guy who took that picture with Elton. And they have no idea that, it's a lot more than taking a photo with Elton. It's a job. But my work is pretty cool with that. I got to say they weren't in the beginning, because, they were like,
we need you, man.
Yeah. They're like, in the beginning, they're like, well, why don't you work for him full time? And I'm thinking, well, if the job was there, believe me, I'd do it. But Elton already plays piano. He doesn't need a piano player in the band. So, it's like I go when I go, and now they're a lot cooler with it. And,
but look around the LA area, because there's tons of music stores, and you have places like Norman's Rare Guitars, who has celebrities in there all the time. He posts videos on YouTube. Just just those little promotions are huge. And to have a guy like you there who could talk to just about anybody there who's interested in the piano and what you have done and accomplished, it's a huge deal. And it's not so much that you've achieved this celebrity status, but it's a really unique thing that you do. And I mean, that's the most interesting part about it is I don't even know how I stumbled upon you, but I thought, wow, that's a really cool thing that he does. And I want to know about that.
That's cool. You want to buy a piano, by the way?
I do want to buy a piano. Yeah.
You have your Cunningham. You're okay, man. That's cool. I love what I do. And like I say, several years ago, I forget what sort of tabloid it was, but some tabloid came after me and they were like, we'll pay you $10,000 for some dirt story on Elton if you could tell us. And I was like, yeah, no. And they offered a little more money. And I said, you know what? If you offered like 8 times that, I have nothing to tell you guys. And, I told Elton about that and he was like, wow. They could offer me a crap load of money. I would say nothing. A, because it's really nobody's business. And B, there's really nothing I can say negative about him. And although I'm sure I could probably find something, I would never do it because I respect him too much. And, this is a dream come true job for me. The fact that, Elton knows me, he knows my boys, my 2 sons, he knows my wife. And that to me is such an honor. I'd never do anything to screw that up, no matter what.
I think one of the things that people don't realize too is that, tabloids are big and I guess they make a lot of money, but there are bands out there like I would think Elton John, Billy Joel, and like the Rolling Stones. they could do almost anything and get away with murder, and
right.
It'd have to be something really odd to be newsworthy, and it'd be quite a stretch because like who cares, I mean,
right.
The guy, these people are legends, and they're gonna draw huge crowds, forever, no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, unless I told a story about him, going off with some aliens, I guess maybe if I brought that up, but I'm not going to talk about that. You know what I mean? No. Nobody would believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
And, they probably have pretty cool pianos on other planets as well. But
yeah, exactly. Yes. He would have access to them all. Believe me. Yeah. It's a great gig. I would never do anything to jeopardize that.
So I think anybody that plays a guitar, plays a piano, as sat in the crowd thinking, wouldn't that be awesome if the guitar player just passed out and they needed some and they need somebody to play. It's like everybody thinks that.
There's a Jennifer Aniston movie with Marky Mark. What's his name? Mark.
Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg, right. Where he takes over for the lead singer because the lead singer walks off stage like, screw this, and he becomes the new lead singer. It's a great movie. And by the end of the movie, they're ready to replace him. And it's like, wow, what a cruel, what a cruel world this really is. But it's there's always someone out there who thinks I could do that, and I'm sure there are players and singers who could sing and play rings around me. But it's like, I have such a passion and respect for it. It's like, I'm lucky on the one hand, and then I feel just so blessed on the other hand for doing what I do.
I think one of the things that really struck me and what I really enjoyed about listening to you during Quaranchella 11 is, you do put this certain little twist of yourself in these songs, and
right.
I like that. There's a lot of people who do that, and you think, well, damn it, just sing it like.
Stick to the record.
Yeah. Whoever. But I mean, you have a way of twisting that a bit, and your spin. It sounds good. I mean, it really sounds good, and it sounds like it belongs there.
I was always doing this. I was playing piano as a backup, like a Paul Schaefer for a live theater show. And by like the fourth month that I was doing this comedy show, the host of the show, J. Keith Van Stratton, very funny guy. I was pulling my pants down and I had underwear with his picture on it. I mean, I would do anything just to be part of the fun and the dialogue. I just enjoy being more than just the copycat. That's what I've always wanted to do, is how do you do this and then turn it up a notch and show a little personality? When I was doing the NFL show on Fox, I was part of the house band, and I wasn't the band leader. This other guy was, and God bless him. He was a good guitarist, but he was not good talking to the camera. And so I thought, well, what do I do here, to turn this up a notch? And because it was a football show that ran weekly, I would get bobbleheads of these football players, and I'd stick it on my keyboard, and the camera would sure enough just, always pan over to the keyboard and the bobblehead, and there's me. And eventually they started talking to me, and it was always just fun, So I always try to do something that could, show a little personality without being an idiot,
I think a place that's really evident, because you can go to a bar or a club or whatever and hear a guy just sitting there playing piano and he's going to put you to sleep. But if you've ever been to New Orleans or Vegas and you see dueling pianos, what in the hell is happening there? What drives people into that crazed piano frenzy? I've never seen anything like it. They're just screaming at the top of their lungs, and it's amazing. And it's two guys just playing the shit out of a piano.
Yeah, we did that. I did that here in Pasadena. There was a place called Red Hot's. This was years ago. And I really had the time of my life. It was like, oh my God, just sit up there and play and have fun with the audience and get them to sing. That to me, those were fun days. And the money was amazing because, people would just tip you like crazy. And you get free drinks, that was the single life back then. But, I'm married and have kids now. I need to be respectable and whatnot. But, it's always fun to put a bit of yourself in that. And those players, some of them are amazing. Yeah, I'm not into the playing piano in a bar anymore and just being background. I did it. 3 weeks ago, the Four Seasons called. They had a gig for me to play in the patio, social distance, but just background. And I was like, okay. And I brought my keyboard, and I was bored by the first half hour. I thought, I can't do this anymore. And I just can't. I just can't do it. I did it for like 3 hours that night. People were coming up and saying, wow, you're really good. And I thought, thank you. I just can't do this anymore. So I felt bad, but I can't do it again.
Are you a gear guy? Do you hit yard sales and look for amazing old keyboards? And
I should.
I'm into that. Like big time.
I should. I have a Hohner D6 clavinet that needs repair. Nice. And I have a Fender Rhodes 88 stage model, and I love playing those. But yeah, I'm looking for an 88 key weighted keyboard now, because mine that I played for all the Quarancellas is completely destroyed. The guy I took it to for repair said, "How old is this controller?" And I said, "Well, it's about 15 years old." And he said, "You've been playing it a lot lately?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You need all new hammer weights. You must be banging this thing hard because they're all gone." And he said, "It's not worth fixing, so you might as well get something new." And I was like, okay. So I need a new keyboard apparently.
They're everywhere though. It's everybody. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. They wanted their kid to play guitar, wanted them to play piano especially, and they bought this equipment, and it's just sitting there. And, back in the day, maybe 20 years ago, I used to run into stuff all the time. Used to buy a really nice tube amp for $20. Maybe it just needed a new tube, but you don't see it like that anymore. But it's still pops up, and it's
That's
just
great. How do you go get it on their yards? Do you have to show up in a hazmat suit, or
well, here it's still, it's business
Oh, that's
as
right.
usual. Yeah. So I don't even.
All right. Well, if you find me something fun, let me know, and I'll swing up there.
And I really feel bad about the rest of the country, although I don't think people take it seriously enough as they should.
Yeah.
And I feel that, as I drive through my little tiny town here, and every other license plate is Texas, Florida, or California, and people are here to get away from that. It's I'm thankful, but we still think about you guys in the heart of COVID country, and it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know it.
Hey, talk about let's finish with your book, because I don't have the book, but I've read everything that Amazon lets me read for free, and it's a good book.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's called Smother, S''Mother, and it's all about my mom, who, when I came out here for college, she started writing me letters, and I saved them all. And she still writes me letters to this day, because she doesn't have my cell phone number. Because if I gave it to her, she'd call it all the time. And she lives about 1.5 miles away in a building with my mother-in-law. So that's a sitcom in itself. But so I wrote the book called Smother. It's a compilation of the zaniest of her letters to me and my commentary. It's sort of a through line of me growing up and maturing, and her still writing the same letters. There's a resistant form of gonorrhea going around, wear a condom, stuff like that. They're very short, to the point, insane, inappropriate, and I got them all. And there's over 1,500 of them. So it's a treasure chest of treasure chesters, I guess you could say. It's just pure zaniness. And I love her, and I want to kill her. There's that combination.
What's the letter that says, "Dear Adam, don't have anything to do with your paternal grandmother. Love, Mom"?
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, that was in college. She hated my dad's mom, and I was like,
Mom.
I wasn't allowed to talk to my grandmother for 15 years. And when I came out for college, I was like, screw this. And I called her in Jersey, and it was crazy. And I got together with her, and my mom was convinced that my grandmother was going to murder me. So, she's nuts, but everybody seems to love my mom. She wears an air. Here's what it is. It's like she's Inspector Clouseau, and I'm her boss. I'm Inspector Dreyfus, and people looked at Dreyfus. If you remember the Pink Panther movies,
yeah,
he was the one twitching who looked insane. That's me. And my mom's the bumbling idiot who everybody falls in love with. And I'm sitting there going, she's crazy. And I end up being the crazy one. So it's a very burlesque kind of relationship, where it's me and my mom doing this comedy routine where I want to kill her. And if you get a chance, there's a segment on George Lopez's show when he had a talk show in 2011. She and I were guests, because that's when the book came out in 2011. And it's the funniest interview, because she's flirting with him, and it's like, Jesus, can he see she's insane? But it's a great little segment. It's worth the 5 minutes.
So did she really send you a copy of her will?
She sends me various copies of her will.
It changes.
It changes all the time.
Why?
I don't know. I don't read them. I put them away. I'm going to inherit a boatload, I'm sure, but I can't.
Good for you.
Can't even go there. Yeah, the boatload is like $9,000, and every year it changes. I can't keep up with the last will and testaments. I really can't.
So I think your mom, my mom are the exact opposite. My mom's 81 years old. She still works. She doesn't spend any money. Always complains that she never gets to go anywhere. Wants like to Europe or California, or just go. You don't have to work. And I can't figure that out. But it's just I think I'm a person who, given a chance, I'm out of here. I'm done. But if I had the means, but But anyway, this book looks very good. I'm going to dig deeper into that.
Thanks, man. It's a lot of fun, and people can't take it too seriously because it comes across like I despise her in the book, which I kind of do. But there's such a love in that despising. People who know me, my mom's cool with it, and it's all fun.
Is that the picture of her and you? Is that a real picture?
Yeah,
is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She was very, very pretty. Mm-hmm. Now she's just very, very old, and she's in her early 80s too, and she looks like she's 180.
Really?
So but still, she goes to the market and
sure, she
reports
appreciates that.
Well, yes, but she goes to the market and tells me that, this young boy, he must have been 32, asked me out. I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't believe anything she says anymore, but who knows? He could end up being my dad. I don't know. Hang on a second.
That's funny. Yeah. Can you imagine if she remarried, what that would look like?
At this point, I could only pray it's to, somebody fun who's deaf maybe,
right,
and doesn't have to hear her insanity.
I mean, that's one of the horrors of my life is that reality that could happen to my mom, and then I have this stepdad and and so I can tell you, I'm not very supportive about the whole mom dating thing. And I don't think I ever will be.
I hear you. It's crazy.
So what else? What's coming up next? When are we going to hear the next Quarancella? And tell everybody, you have a website. Talk about that. Talk about your YouTube channel and everything.
That's great. Well, thanks for this. Seriously, Cam, this is great. Been a lot of fun. My YouTube channel is Adam Chester. You'll see all the Quarancellas up there, except for the last 3, which I need to put up. I'm on Facebook as Adam Chester Music. Instagram is _ Adam Chester. And then my website is adamchester.com. That is due for an update as well. And I have some original music out there. You can find my book Smother on Amazon. And the next Quarancella, I believe, is this coming Sunday. If you go to my Facebook page, that's where I put the link that Do You Remember gives me when they post it live. So
it will be live, though.
Oh, yeah. It's always live. Nice. I always stream it live. So nothing but fun.
Friend me on Facebook so I can throw that link out there.
Absolutely.
And I want to see it.
We're already Facebook friends. That's not.
Yeah. So Adam Chester is a professional composer, arranger, pianist, and singer-songwriter. He's the surrogate Elton John and apparently an overachiever.
Yeah, apparently.
Awesome.
Either that or just purely insane or bored. I don't know either. But
right on.
Yep.
You take care of yourself and your family, and you're kind of in the middle of the hot zone right now, and hopefully things will work out, and we'll be able to resume and whatever our normal life will be and whatever that looks like. And I wish you the best. And Adam Chester, thank you so much. I can't even tell you.
Cam.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure. Good night, sir.
Thank you, man. Take care of yourself.